After chaos erupted in Congress on last-minute efforts to derail his inauguration by corrupt political elite, Bernardo Arevalo was finally sworn in as Guatemala's 52nd president in the early hours of Monday morning. Arevalo, along with Vice President Karin Herrera and other members of Movimiento Semilla, his political party, won the elections by a landslide in August 2023. Voters want a government free from corruption.
Que yo voté por la democracia, así es. Y lo que queremos es esperanza, es justicia, es equidad.
Arevalo and his party began facing strong opposition by those in power months ago. Following his election last year, his party was suspended by Guatemala's Supreme Electoral Tribunal amidst accusations of fraud.
No es justo que ellos hayan dado amparo a un presidente con fraude, pues, y no eso no es lo correcto, pues, para el bien de Guatemala. Aquí lo que deberíamos de hacer es repetir las elecciones.
But the majority of voters were clear and adamant about what they want: Arevalo in and the corrupt politicians out. And the fight for political power in Guatemala continued into the night, delaying Arevalo's swearing in by more than 9 hours. A crowd of Guatemalan voters in front of the Constitutional Plaza began to swell. Meanwhile, a smaller but confrontational crowd formed in front of Congress. This is after members of Movimiento Semilla broke down the doors of Congress to participate in the private meeting. Chaos erupted. Politicians who were viewed as corrupt were chased down the streets. One was spot on. Thousands of police officers lined the street of the capital city, but they too were no match for the frustrated Guatemalan voters. All of this unfolding while presidents and prime ministers were in the country to attend the swearing-in ceremony. King Felipe VI of Spain left the country because of security concerns. Meanwhile, President of Colombia, Gustavo Petro, and President of Costa Rica, Rodrigo Chavez Robles, stressed that democracy must be respected.
El pueblo como el gobierno de Colombia respaldan al pueblo guatemalteco a su decisión mayoritaria, a la legitimidad de la elección del presidente Bernardo Arevalo y a la búsqueda de un relacionamiento entre los dos países que hoy sea fructífero para...
De los mejores deseos del pueblo de Costa Rica al pueblo de Guatemala y de que fortalezcamos la democracia en este hemisferio. Obviamente estamos esperando la toma de posesión del señor presidente Arevalo, a ver cuándo el Congreso guatemalteco permitirá eso.
The Secretary General of the Organization of American States, Luz Almargo, was also in Guatemala City, and after meeting with leaders of the region, including Belize's Prime Minister John Briceño, he read a declaration supporting Arevalo.
Reunidos en la ciudad de Guatemala para la toma de posesión presidencial, hacemos un llamado al Congreso de la República a cumplir con su mandato constitucional de entregar el poder como exige la Constitución en el día de hoy, al presidente electo Bernardo Arevalo y a la vicepresidenta electa Karin Herrera. El pueblo guatemalteco expresó su voluntad democrática en elecciones justas, libres y transparentes.
PM Briceño, along with Foreign Minister Francis Fonseca, both condemned the actions taken by opposition leaders in Guatemala to prevent the peaceful transition of power.
Guatemala is our neighbor, is our close friend, so it is important to continue to strengthen that relationship between both countries. Unfortunately, there seems to be still some uncertainty, differences between different members in Congress and with President-elect Arevalo. President-elect Arevalo should have been sworn in a few hours ago, and up to now, we still are not certain as to exactly when that's going to happen. But I'm hoping that common heads will prevail, that common sense will take over, that the people in Congress need to understand that we should always respect the right of the people. Democracy must prevail in every modern country, and Guatemala is no different. Congress has a responsibility to ensure that has happened. The people have spoken. It was an open, transparent, and fair election, and Mr. Arevalo and his VP candidate, they won. And we need to respect that at all times.
You know, Belize is very concerned. Guatemala had, as the Prime Minister said, peaceful, fair elections. There has now been, for several months now, efforts by particular groups in Guatemala, in effect, to overturn the will of the people. So Belize strongly rejects that. We condemn that. We are here, Prime Minister and I came to Guatemala because we want to send a clear signal that we support democracy in Guatemala. We support the new president-elect. We want to see a peaceful transition of power here in Guatemala. So we're very, very concerned.
And while the battle in Congress continued, the leaders of the region flew back to their respective countries. Voters' frustration was increasing. They wanted to see Arevalo be sworn in as the new president. They witnessed that on Monday morning, just after midnight.
Cumplir con amor patriótico el cargo de presidente de la República para el cual ha sido electo.
Sí, juro.
Queda usted legal, legítima y solemnemente en posesión del cargo de presidente de la República de Guatemala para el periodo constitucional.
Reporting for News 5, Hipolito, Novelo.